Hi, this is Peter. It's April 21st, 2022. Welcome back to my channel. I just jumped on here to bring you some local news and welcome everybody back. I know it's been a while since I was on before, um, probably just before April. Just a lot of recovery and coming back from just being knocked down and beat down tired. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to do a screen share here. All right. And like I said, it's some local news. So let me see if I can hide this. Right. I'll put this down here. Okay, so like I said, I was going to bring you some local news from the Saratoga Today. I don't, it doesn't come in the mail, but I can pick up the local copy. And instead of trying to share it that way, I went ahead and looked it up online. This one right here, Out of This World, Mount McGregor, the place where the paranormal and tourism meet. And then I want to come back to this page and just talk about this here regarding school violence, because I thought that was interesting. So let's go ahead and click on this. This used to be a prison. And many years ago, there was a video made about it. It's actually on my channel under Mark Mulholland for WNYT local news. I'll dig around right after, I'll go in after and see if I can find it. But it was really interesting at the time. So I've been keeping an eye out on this prison because I was wondering what they're going to do with it. You know, a lot of speculation at the time was it'd be turned into some sort of FEMA camp or some place for incarceration, just like, you know, with prisoners, but with regular citizens. So this is a very interesting story. This is on the hill. Out of This World, Mount McGregor, the place where the paranormal and tourism meet. It's on the very tip top of the hill. If you Google search this, you'll see quite how vast this is. And it went up, and the story is pretty interesting too, regarding the sale and the use. But let's get right into this article. Saratoga County, the multi-acre swath of land nestled between Wilton, Moreau, and Corinth, has in the past served as a correctional facility, a TB sanitarium, tuberculosis for anyone that didn't know, and a center for the developmentally disabled. Now, paranormal investigator Steve Brote and business partner Mark Erskine are finalizing an offer to New York State to purchase the long vacant Mount McGregor Correctional Facility property with a goal of creating a new heritage tourism destination in Saratoga County. Quote, over my decade plus as a heritage tourism fan and paranormal investigator, and more recently as an owner of the Haunted Nights Paranormal Events Company based in Glens Falls, I have had the pleasure of visiting more than 24 cities around the country where abandoned hospitals and correctional facilities have been reimagined as heritage tourism and paranormal investigation destinations, said Brote. These facilities are enjoying a second or third life and bringing significant numbers of visitors and economic activity to those regions. We see a tremendous opportunity to do the same at Mount McGregor. The partner's business plan is patterned after the success of facilities like Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville, Kentucky, Moundsville Penitentiary in West Virginia, Ohio State Reformatory, Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in West Virginia, and Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia. If successful in securing the currently state-owned site, Brote and Erskine envision the reopening the campus which has been closed since 2014, early on for heritage tourism tours. Photography tours, paranormal investigations is part of their multi-year, multi-million-dollar plan. Now, I'm just going to pause there for a second and just say to you guys, like, can you imagine just on with the family on YouTube of paranormal investigators and just people that like to go and investigate anything that is out of the ordinary? This is going to be huge, especially as it catches publicity. Um, the buildings are largely intact and structurally sound despite the many years of inactivity, and the more than 300 acres includes roughly 70 structures, and about 40 of them identified as buildings of substantial size. The duo has made the presentation rounds with town supervisors in Moreau, Corinth, and Wilton. Quote, we met with them, discussed this with them, and got all their support, as well as assemblymen and senators as well. They are all on board with it, Brodt said. Long-term plans envision investments that will accommodate corporate events and other private functions, community events, TV and film productions, a museum dedicated to the history of the facility and property, and possibly even accommodations and dining. Quote, I have been doing this on a smaller scale for the past several years as a manager of the Saratoga County Homestead, the former tuberculosis hospital in Middle Grove, said Brodt, who has toured the local property with representatives of Empire State Development. Quote, Mount McGregor has a fascinating history to share, first as a tuberculosis hospital and later as a correctional facility. And we have no doubt that its story will attract heritage tourists, photographers, and paranormal investigators from across the country to Saratoga County. I don't doubt that either, quote, unquote. Dating back a century, the grounds have served as a tuberculosis center, a rest camp for World War II veterans, and a center for the developmentally disabled. Most recently, it cited a correctional facility where medium security inmates were housed within a perimeter security comprised of a row of fencing topped with collared blades of razor ribbon. According to the Empire State Development, ESD published a lengthy and architecturally detailed 146-page report for an adaptive reuse plan in 2014, as the Mount McGregor Correctional Facility was closed. Brodt and Erskine toured the property last November with the organization, and for the past several months has been working closely with the Saratoga Economic Development Corporation. Regarding the paranormal aspect, Brodt says one never knows what one may find. It's funnier because it is hard to tell with the paranormal. You might go into a location 2 nights in a row and have absolutely nothing happen, and the next night might be really, really active. We've had a lot of former staff who have reached out and said, hey, I've had this experience while I worked there at this time in this building. Many of the experiences matched up, and they told us the exact same story that took place in the same part of the property when they didn't even work together and did not know each other, Brodt said. There are stories already starting to come to light, and we know there will be a lot more once we reach out to the former employees and their families and gather the firsthand experiences of people who had worked there for many years, he said. Once we acquire the property, we'll get up there, get our hands dirty, get the work done, get the buildings cleaned up, and open up for the public access as soon as possible, Brodt said. The hope is to secure the property during this current spring season, that's right now, and subsequently open during this 2022 calendar year. That's a pretty amazing accomplishment. Great story. And if you if you have friends or watch channels, please share this because I think it would go a long way in the future for anybody who might be interested to get their foot in the door. So don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe. Much appreciated. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep it here. I'm going to back up. All right. And then I'm going to set this up. Oh, it didn't go anywhere. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I'm going to set this up for this video or this story. And I'll come back to it because I want to Let's see if I can. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do, since we're sharing here, let me go to. Oh, I'm sorry. And this is on Zoom, so I might have really screwed up the whole video layout. I don't know yet. Hopefully I didn't. Either way, it's a good thing that I read. It's a good thing I read it, because I don't know if it'll show, if the article will show it, but it's Saratoga Today newspaper.com. All one word. All right, so let me go to it's under dad right here.
News Channel 13 crew was threatened with arrest today. It happened as they were working on a story about the historic cottage in Wilton, where President Ulysses S. Grant spent his final days.
Grant's cottage is located on Mount McGregor near the now closed correctional facility. Corrections employees who are still working at the empty prison made every attempt to stop Mark Mulholland from doing his job. And Mark shows us what happened now live from our Saratoga newsroom. Good evening, Mark.
Well, good evening, Jim and Benita. In more than 20 years in the business, I've rarely encountered anything quite like this. We were doing a story on Grant's cottage, but some corrections employees made their actions the story. Grant's cottage is located at the top of Mount McGregor. Just yesterday was the 129th anniversary of the death here of President Ulysses S. Grant. We shot some of the reenactment Wednesday, and we're assigned to go back there today to get some additional shots. We were doing a piece on camera in the shadows of the empty Mount McGregor prison when a car comes speeding toward us. This is the exchange photographer Matt Soriano and I had with a man who identified himself as a corrections lieutenant. We're doing a story about Grant's cottage.
Doesn't matter. You're on state property right now. You can't film here. You got to get permission through Albany to film.
Okay, we can go shoot it from Grant's cottage then.
No, you're not up here for that. You're up here for different purposes.
We're doing a story on Grant's cottage as it relates
Well,
to
you have to take that through Albany.
No, we'll just go back to Grant's cottage.
No, you're going to leave the mountain now.
No, we're going to go to Grant's cottage.
No, you're not.
You're rolling, right? You're telling us we can't visit a historic site?
No, you're not. You're going to run that through Albany.
No, we don't run through Albany when we visit a
You're on
historic
state
site.
grounds right now.
Well, we'll go to the historic site.
You can go up there. You can't film.
Oh, yes, we can.
No.
Yes, we can. What's your name?
Lieutenant Dorn.
Lieutenant what, Dorn?
What's your first name? It's Lieutenant Dorn. Look, I'm not going to go around with you on this. You're going to leave the property.
We will. We'll go to the historic site.
You cannot film up there.
We will go to the historic site of the origin. So we proceeded to make our way closer to Grant's cottage. Another corrections employee parked his car across the road, denying and blocking our access to the historic site. So we're trying to get to Grant's cottage. Corrections officers blocking the road. So you can see how this might deter people from trying to get to a prominent national historic site. You get to Grant's cottage, please? After several minutes, he moves his car to allow other visitors to get to and from Grant's cottage and slowly inching his car along in front of us. Ironically, once there, we noticed a film crew apparently filming a movie on the grounds of the closed prison. On our way back down the mountain as we attempted to leave, Corrections Lieutenant Dorn had called the state police, asked them to detain us, and demanded our video.
He's obviously leaving. Can't leave with that film.
Can't leave with what?
Why leave with the film in the jail?
If I'm a member of the public and I'm taking pictures of Grant's cottage, and there's the facility in right behind it. What are you doing there?
We're aware that facility's in the background. Those photos will be confiscated.
The man who identified himself as Lieutenant Dorn said on several occasions if we didn't hand over the tape, he would have us arrested. After roughly an hour and calls between our newsroom leadership, state police, and the Department of Corrections, we were allowed to leave without surrendering the video we shot.
Yeah, what do you think of that one, huh?
If your roof is over 7 years old,
Oh,
you may
shush.
qualify to get a new metal roof installed for 99 cents.
What a loudmouth. So yeah, that was. Let me go back. I apologize. When was that? August 2014. Okay. Yeah, so that's in my it's under dead on my page. All right, so excuse me. Back to this. Saratoga City School District Board calls for school violence report and action plan. Now, I'm not on Facebook, but I've heard that a lot of these fights were being posted on Facebook for Saratoga, for Boston Spa, for Corinth. Apparently, this is a growing epidemic in BOCES and in the high schools, middle schools. We'll read it together and find out. The VADIR report, that is the New York State Education Department School Safety and Educational Climate. And this is, I guess, the violence, and I'm not even going to try it. I don't even know what that stands for. VADIR report incidents. Okay, so senior and middle. Wow. There's more at the middle school. That's interesting. For assault and physical injury. Middle school. Possession, sale of drugs. Wow. Okay. Saratoga Springs, following a lengthy and sometimes contentious discussion, the Saratoga Springs School District Board of Education, during its regular meeting on Tuesday, April 12th, asked School Superintendent Michael Patton, EDD, to provide a report on the number of incidents of physical assaults, bullying, and drugs, including vaping, that have occurred in the district during the past year. The board additionally requested information on disciplinary and action taken, trends, and an action plan to mitigate these issues. The data on physical assaults is to include those occurring on other students, teachers, student resource officers, and staff. Board of Education trustee Amanda Ellithorpe of Saratoga Springs made the formal request for the school violence data from the school, adding to a request from trustee Vice President John Brueggemann, PhD, for similar information on vaping in schools. At the meeting, Ellithorpe said, "There seems to be some concern that this isn't happening, or it isn't to the degree as it's being presented. Teachers union is upset. They are scared. Teachers came to me with a communication that their union sent to them. They are scared for their physical safety and their jobs if they speak up. If we are going to sit here and not act that this is important to keep everyone safe, then I don't know what we are sitting here for." Trustee Dean A. Colligan Jr. said, "I appreciate both comments from John and Amanda on their requests. I like Connie's trustee Wojtowicz idea to see where we can put dollars. We had someone in the audience say we are responsible to oversee the taxpayers' dollars. These are ways to show that responsibility. If we can, in a perfect world, eliminate drugs, vaping, and violence in schools, but it will cost X. That is important for us to see." The rising concerns about school violence were heightened by a recent video that was shared on social media by two female students in a physical altercation inside a local school building as student resource officer Glenn Barrett stepped in. When asked later about Officer Barrett's condition, Dr. Patton said he understood that Officer Barrett sustained no serious injury and is continuing his duties as usual. At the board meeting, Patton confirmed, and I'm just going to do an aside here before I go further, two female students and a resource officer male. What are you worried about the officer's condition for? That's his job. He's trained to handle these situations. Do you see how they just kind of like make it about something else? Like, yes, these two girls got into it and should be penalized for that. But as an officer, you should know what to do in that situation. Everybody in this article should know what to do in this situation. Are you kidding me? This is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed to read it. They're so perplexed. They don't know what to do in the situation they've created. Maybe the masks have something to do with it. At the board meeting, Patton confirmed that the district regularly gathers data regarding violent or disruptive instances, as well as instances of discrimination, harassment, bullying, and cyberbullying, and submits it annually in the Violent and Disruptive Incident Report, VADIR, to comply with New York State reporting requirements. These reports are publicly available on the New York State Education Department's website. I think all the school districts are seeing a rise in student misconduct, not only in the capital region, but in our state and country, Dr. Patton said in a later interview. He thinks, He should know that. He's a teacher. He's a PhD. Coming back to, they just say, it's like you shouldn't just speak off the cuff. If you're going to make a statement, you should make sure that that's a legitimate statement. I think all school districts are seeing a rise. You can guess that, sure. But why wouldn't you specify, if you're going to specify something, specify it and pinpoint it exactly. Don't generalize. Coming back to in-person learning after having been separated for close to a year and a half is a tremendous challenge for families and school districts. You created the situation. On Tuesday, Dr. Patton told the board that the information could be summarized for the August board meeting, a draft action plan presented in the fall, and the full report finalized by the end of the year. During the board meeting's public hearing, parent Mark Crockett of Wilton said, "There's been a trend of violence in our schools, most notably last week's occurrence. That video allows us to get a glimpse of it. Is this a typical day for our students? We hear stories of students vaping in the bathroom, smoking in the bathroom. Some students don't want to go to the bathrooms anymore." In a later interview, board president Jeanette Amika said, students and parents are upset and rightly passionate about safety in their schools. Yeah, we don't need you to say that, though. However, I'm not hearing it directly from people who have experienced it firsthand. I am not negating any child who says they can't go to the restroom, but I have to hear directly from those seeing violent behaviors themselves. Dr. Patton confirmed that there have been 4 instances since December throughout the district, but he has only received 1 phone call about these types of concerns from a parent. "Please call," said Dr. Patton about his message to district parents. "Our board administrators and teachers are more than willing to help. They're working hard on getting to know what the kids need, to sit down and hear the challenges that they go through both in school and at home. Being compassionate and understanding, yet still holding them to high expectations when it comes to being mutually respectful. It's a huge struggle. We know the parents too are working really hard to get back to life as normal." Again, these are not, according to the Moving Saratoga Forward Facebook page, an email from Saratoga Springs Teacher Union President Timothy McGuigan, McGuigan, was sent earlier this week to educators in the district. The page stated that the email informed educators that the SSTA leadership met with school district leadership to discuss student behavior and discipline within our buildings. Additionally, according to the post, the leaders discussed disrespectful and volatile incidents and lack of administrative support when students are referred for discipline. The post stated that the union will continue to make this top priority, and that addressing the issues needs to be a joint effort that does not result in finger pointing or playing the blame game. McGuigan cannot be reached for confirmation and comment in time before the publishing deadline. All right, well, I have a son still in school. Of course, I don't get any updates about any of that, so I really couldn't tell you one way or the other, but it was concerning to me to hear that. Absolutely. Nobody wants to hear about violence in schools. God forbid one of these dumb kids hurts themselves or hurts somebody else. And then, what do you got? A real mess. So, these are educators that are put in these positions or on the school boards are voted in. What the hell are they doing if they're not prepared for this? This should be part of this should be some sort of policy book that they've created in these events, to have something already in place, to have 3 or 4 ideas in place. I mean, what the hell are they getting? What are we paying taxes for school if they have no action plans, 0 action plans? They all want to cry how they've all been working so hard this past year. Boo the fuck who? So is everybody else. Teachers always want to break. Oh, we're working so hard. Fuck off. Work harder then. How about that? Work the fuck harder. Anyway, there's one other thing I wanted to share. I want to see if I can get just to tie this in. I don't think I can do that. I don't want to just yet. I'll do that at another time, but it's kind of, it has to do with the school stuff, but that's what I'll share with you. Okay. It was I wanted to go to, I want to go to the Saratoga Springs, the meetings. See if I can get to the meetings. No, I don't want my videos. Sorry. Let's go back to, that's right. Yeah. Go to. So this is the local board meetings. Let's go to this real quick, just to share. I don't know if anybody, my watchers, watch Alex Stein. It's nothing like that. So let's see if I can turn this up here. I don't know. It's for some reason I can't get the volume. Well, there it is.
You hear stories of kids vaping in the bathroom, smoking in the bathroom. Some students don't even want to go to the bathrooms anymore. And while all of this is going on, we have huge resources on committees worried about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the Committee on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion is not diverse. So where are our priorities? We are paying the school taxes to teach children reading, writing, mathematics, and history.
So there's more people that are stepping up. So this is good. This is local for me. So I'm sure I'm going to make my way there.
Indoctrinated them on social,
I've got a lot to say.
learning, and what they should think about police brutality. That's our job as parents, not the school district.
I feel like God's going to tell me when that time is right.
Next is Mary Marcolin.
But, I think, the point of my message here is that you should get involved. I get involved by watching every week, or every month, or however often they're doing these. I watch them every time, either live or within a day. And then, like I said, when the time is right, I'll know. Where is it? I'll know, when it's going to be the right time to go. Stop the share. All right. So just to wrap things up, I'm going on a little long here. I didn't plan on going this long, but just to wrap it up. I think my last video was late March. And then maybe I posted something regarding the rally. And then there's been some things that have come to light that's just really made me question the movement. And you know, and if you look through the videos that I've made for this channel, they have to do a lot with Trump and the movement, and the movement being, you know, everything that's related to that convoy. Excuse me. And it's just there's other information that's changing the perspective of that situation, and it's yeah, it's not really changing anything that I was going to do here on the channel. I had made mention that my intention was to try to do things more prioritized to what's going on in my life here versus globally, because I'm not going to make a difference there. I don't have the kind of platform for that, and or that's not my field of expertise, and I'm not going to sit here and speak on it like I know enough about it. I can have my back and forth with my partner, and that's as far as it's going to go. And I'll bring what I can here. I'll share what I can here, and hopefully, to myself and you guys out there watching, commenting, maybe you have some suggestions on where you get your content and you want to share your story. Please do. It's always good to hear other just other people have what they have to say. And so, like I said, I'm going to keep it more focused to local issues here, things going on in my life, in regards to politics and education, and how I'm being affected on a local level for me, because it is going on. Let's not forget that it is happening. I just want everyone to share how it's happening for them where they are, because it's a bigger problem than what's being shown on the surface. It's going to get a lot worse. And so the bigger the group gets, it's kind of pulling back the you know, the coverings of it. They're all going to realize at once how big of a mess our educational system has put our kids in, kind of jeopardy they've put our kids in. You know, the transgender and you know, all the letters that they have attached to male and female to put in all these other genders. Just say on that, you know, if I'm addressing a group, it's going to be real hard to speak when you have to make sure you've covered everybody in your introduction. Anyway, I'll end it there. Thanks for watching. If you stayed this long, God bless you all. I love you. Have a good night. Peace.